Hello and welcome to another episode of GOA365's Story Behind the Story. Now we've been carrying a lot of issues these days about accidents, the clashes between tourists, the bad behavior of tourists, then the conviction rates, heinous crimes which are being covered by the media on a regular basis. But one underlining point is this: how is it that these people in Goa, Goans, non-Goans, tourists have so much of guts to handle, to basically do whatever, lots what they want in Goa. So, fear of the law, that was one thing, and low conviction rate, that was the second time. Now, the Chief Minister had a meeting with the Home Minister, and they had supposed to have taken a lot of issues which are implementation or the reaction has still to be seen, even though the cops are saying that under the new laws, conviction rates are quite high. Time will tell. Now, another incident of this not following of SOPs, pressure being allowed, maybe not, of witnesses, of victims being the one who have been put under the lens, put under pressure, not being treated with the way they should be treated despite the central government orders, despite the Supreme Court orders, is an issue which we can see almost every day. So we thought we would take up this issue because of an incident which happened in Margao of a victim lady. Now, to discuss this further, without me getting into my opinions, I would like to introduce our panel, a senior panel made up of politicians, journalists, professionals. Starting with Francis Bab Coelho, AAP General Secretary. Francis Bab, welcome to our show. Siddharth Bab Samant, advocate, senior advocate, welcome to our show. Trajan Bab De Mello, very senior politician, TMC national spokesman. Trajan Bab, welcome to our show. And our own journalist from Sabi Bab Narvekar. So I would like to start off with you, Francis, because once we start with the issue, then we can go into the reasons. See, I'm not looking at the merits of this particular case. What I'm looking is at the procedure, the SOPs, the role of the police, the role of NGOs, the general system.
So according to me, what happened, and according to us, because this particular lady, advocate Janki Shirke, she came to meet Venzi because she found that she's not getting a voice to be heard, and she confided in Venzi what had happened. And Venzi said,
Venzi or MLA
Venzi, yeah, MLA Venzi Vegas. And so what she wanted from MLA Venzi Vegas was that her story be heard, which Venzi did immediately. He called up a few media houses that were available immediately. He, made them, allowed her to narrate the entire statement of what happened. And once she narrated the entire statement, not only Venzi but the whole of Goa, including me, we realized that, let's, like you said, we'll not, without getting into the merit of whether a rape had happened, not happened, that's besides the point. But the entire way things transpired was in complete violation of what the Supreme Court has to say with regards to such cases, right? That advocate Shirke found this victim at about 8:30 or 9 o'clock. The police were not willing to come and take the victim to the police station because the police claimed that they were busy with some Shigma celebrations and there were a lot of traffic restrictions and the police had things to do. Fair enough. These people were trying to take the victim on a bike, but they could not take her on a bike because she then collapsed. So then they called 108 and 108 came. They took her to the hospital. At the hospital, the hospital refused to do a initial checkup of hers to see what is happening with her. They did not do any initial checkup. When she questioned them as to why they are not doing the checkup, they said in such cases we need a memo from the police. So by the time the police had reached the hospital, the police took the victim and advocate Shirke and they went to do a recce of what has happened.
They went before the FIR was filed.
Before the FIR was filed. They took the victim to do a recce. They took her inga zala, inga disti padla, hui meolele, hui deolele, all of that stuff they asked her. Then thereafter they took her to the police station. And then after they dropped the advocate home, saying that we'll take her to the police station and we'll get the FIR and the memo done. After dropping the advocate Janki home, they took the victim to the police station. At the police station, we don't know what transpired in between, but advocate Janki then got worried that, this something is not right. So she got back from her house and went back again to the police station, where she realized the FIR was still not filed and they had not gone back to Margao for the hospicio for the checkup. So again she went with them to the hospicio, tried to get the checkup done the second time. By the time that girl was already worried, she was not trusting the police. She was saying that, like, I don't like these police officers. She was naming the female police officer and saying that I'm not comfortable with these police officers. And by the time she was already retracting her statement. Now, I'm not saying the police officers are to blame. I'm not saying the advocate is to blame. I'm not saying the victim is to blame. I don't know who's to blame. But from this entire story that has been narrated, and this part of the story which has been narrated has been confirmed by Auda Vegas, also has been confirmed by Advocate Janki also, and it is confirmed by the victim also. This part of the story. Now, why does it take so long for a FIR to get registered in such case?
What time was the FIR filed ultimately?
The FIR was filed the next day evening, finally, and that too based on a complaint by Advocate Janki Shirke. It was not filed from the victim. Now, if you go to see basic things like, the SOPs that have been put by the Supreme Court, registration of an FIR is a must. When a rape case is complained, a woman officer should record the FIR wherever possible, whenever possible. Victim can find the FIR at any police station. Zero FIR can be filed. No preliminary inquiry or delay is permitted. Means they don't need to do preliminary inquiry to say that, yeah, there is prima facie case in this, nothing like that. Victim's assistance and legal aid. Victim must be informed of their rights. If the victim is alone, some parent or some guardian or somebody should be brought immediately to the police station. Medical examination and evidence collection. Medical examination must occur within 24 hours. Conducted with the victim's consent by qualified doctors. This has to be done. Recording statements should be done. Police should quickly record the victim's statement under section 166 of the CRPC. Investigation timelines have been put down by the Supreme Court, saying that 60 to 90 days the investigation must be completed. There is no two ways about it. Like other charge sheets take sometimes more than 90 days to file. So all of these guidelines, protection of the victim's identity has to be there, where immediately they're supposed to be giving her a scarf or something to wear where her face is not seen. Victim support and rehabilitation, roles and responsibilities of the NGOs and the media has also been described very, very specifically by the Supreme Court. None of this was followed in the Margao case, is what we have come to believe from what has occurred, right? The victim finally went off to sleep in the police station, is what Advocate Shirke says. That time she left the police station at about 5:30 am. Till then the FIR was not filed and nor was the medical examination done. Now 8:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. that much time is almost 12 hours. Then she goes back home, she rests, then she comes back to the police station by about 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Still yet the FIR is not filed.
So when did the retraction happen?
The retraction and the FIR filing happened in the evening of the 17th. So police register FIR based on lawyer's complaint on the 17th evening. All of this has occurred on the 16th of March 2025, 8:30 p.m. FIR is finally got filed on 17th of March at about 4 or 5 p.m. Right? That too, they say that FIR was filed after the police and the victim and this Advocate Janki went to the NGO lady's house, that is Mrs. Vegas's house. They went to Mrs. Vegas's house, then they came back, they recorded her statement, and then finally the FIR was filed. Then March 18th, the victim has retracted from this entire thing, saying, I made up this story because I thought I'll get some sympathy, and based on that sympathy, I'll get some money to go home.
Medical was not done.
Till date, the medical to check that particular to check rape, for example, has not been done, is what it says. They've done a basic medical to say that she's fine because she was fainting. So there is no medical done, and this is like, I'm not saying that Mrs. Vegas has to be blamed or Advocate Shirke has to be blamed, but the entire way in this entire thing that happened is very, very shady, extremely shady. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with the police, the buck stops with the court, the buck stops with the government. They need to say that, boss, we have done our job. The minute the victim came in, we registered an FIR. We started following all the procedures. We ensured that she has somebody with her. That lady has nobody with her. She has one lady from an NGO who she doesn't know, she hasn't met, and she has one person who's an advocate that she has met when she's crying on the street. She was crying on the street below Advocate Janki's house. Advocate Janki has heard the cries of that woman, gone down to see who's crying, and then she has helped the woman, by understanding what is going wrong, right? So there is nobody with that person.
Yeah. Sawan, tell me now. Now this is the narration of the incident. My thing is, this has been happening. We've got so many instances. Last time also we had a discussion on this. The way the victims are being treated by the men in uniform. As it is going to a police station, even me, being an editor, I get scared. Because the way the cops, they look at you like, oh God, who is this bloody worm who's walked into the pool? That's the way they look at you. There is no this. And I've been doing crime fighting for the past 20. So, this is something that we need to talk. Like, let's not get into the politics of it. Let's let the politicians and the journalists get into it. But this, and then afterwards, why will people register complaints? Why will people go to the thing, and then the cops can say, we have got 90% registration. They tell you, don't file the case. Why are you filing the case? Is this what exactly? And then the chief minister goes and says that we will investigate it, and what, a woman trafficking case is filed against the guy who was bringing
human
half of us won't have maids if they keep on filing thing about people who are bringing people to work as maids. What is the issue? Is it that this person was working in a very influential person's house, that's why the cops were and the NGOs were a little hesitant? Is this because the cops are incompetent? Is this the reason why even women are so insulated and so this against their own ill can? What is this according to you? As a professional, I don't want to.
No, first of all, as far as legal angle is concerned, the affair ought to have registered there and there itself.
Or at least a memo sent so that medical can be done,
no,
right?
No, that's true. That's a memo. But in this case, because the victim was found to be crying under the house, then lawyer accompanied her. So if FIR was to be registered there and there itself, then nothing further what has happened would not have happened. If FIR was to be registered there and there itself, and if you were to be sent for medical, in a case like this, of course, I'll come to the Supreme Court guidelines.
Okay, Doctor, I will go in for a small break. We'll continue on the other side. Yeah, we need to know the procedures, because people have to know, because the cops cannot take people for granted, because ultimately we are paying their salary. They are supposed to be taking care of us. We are not supposed to be taking care of them. That's what I feel. Keep watching. Welcome back. Doctor, please continue.
I will come to the Supreme Court judgments and guidelines later, but in a case like this, scientific examination of a victim is of prime importance, because it is the marks on the body, it is the DNA test of the perpetrator, which could be in the nature of semen, or could be nature on some hair or some remains of a perpetrator on the victim. That clinches the case. Now that is available to you instantly, moment the offense happens. More you spend time on medical evidence, less likelihood of collecting an evidence which is substantial and material in nature, which would point out at the guilt of an offender. So that was required to be done, which has not happened. Now as far as Supreme Court, there are several judgments, not one. There are probably at least 8-10, like Lalita Kumari to Sakari Vasu, then Priyanka Shista, Ram Babu Gupta to Yogendra Singh. There are at least 8-10 judgments on it, which literally puts a protocol as to how you have to go in a case of serious nature like this, rape, murder, or offense against children, or immoral traffic. First is registration of an FIR. Now, of course, if the case appears to be frivolous, nobody says that in every time a person comes, walks in, you have to register an FIR. A preliminary inquiry, but that preliminary inquiry cannot remain for 24 hours. The preliminary inquiry could have been sent somebody at the house of the accused, check whether whether she is working there, and if there is, you don't have to conduct an investigation for the purpose of registration of
investigation
FIR.
Is
investigation will after this.
Correct.
So therefore, FIR is the starting point. So that FIR, if was to be registered in time, nothing what he narrated.
Probably there would have been no detraction also. I don't know. Who knows?
Yes. So in a rape case like this, victim as it is goes through an ordeal. she is raped once and then thereafter what she has happened, this is her character assassination. Then there is a pressure. Then in the court she is stripped of her dignity. So these things, what victim faces after the rape is of a more serious consequences than the rape itself. So therefore, considering the seriousness of an offence, I think first what that victim deserved was an FIR, and if that was to be registered in time, not after 24 hours, 30 hours, I think nothing of what has happened subsequently would have happened. So that's the, I think, first felony is there.
Yeah, thanks, Sawan Bab. Rajan Bab, this is happening once too often, because we have seen this in cases wherein, now this is heinous cases, and I feel that possibly, I don't know, it's just a thought, it's not an allegation, because I feel that many times the cops do it because they don't want to take it forward, they don't want to investigate, and that's how most of the cases get thrown out, because our conviction rate is 20-25%. Now, I don't know, with the new laws that are come are much better. They protect the victim little more, but I think it's all in theory. Implementation on the ground doesn't seem to have happened. You, as a politician and as an observer of the politics and the governance, you tell us what exactly is this issue.
See, first of all, Advocate Samant has pointed out that very clearly, the legal this year is given, that there was no reason for the FIR to be delayed. Now the question is, why is the Home Minister, I would say, waiting? Those police officers who were on duty on that particular day, to whom this victim met and was relating the incident, have not registered the FIR. There should be no hesitation immediately suspending them, so that this is understood to all police stations that this is how, especially a victim of a rape, has to be treated. That has not happened as yet, and I don't think it has happened. As you have first in the beginning said, some influential people, where she was working is still today not disclosed. If it was she was working in my house, it would have been headlines. That the victim was at Rajan's house. Give me an indication that Rajan could be also that automatically follows, you see. So this has been kept under wraps. So there is definitely a powerful hand behind this. Now there is something which I am hearing, that the statement has been retracted. When you say retracted, what was her first statement? Is that recorded?
No. Has it been recorded?
If there is a retraction, there is the earlier statement. No? Is that recorded? Or the retracted statement is recorded? Then what sort of FIR is that? Now, I am asking, and we don't know.
Also am not aware.
And this is not coming out. I am asking you as an editor of a very prominent, channel. If it was me, it would have been there. Probably if it was you, it may be undercovers. If she was working at your house, why is that not being disclosed, where she was working? Because that is the source from where it all happened. They must be able to say, because
it might be funny, but this is a very serious thing what he is saying. It's a very, very serious thing, because it's true. See, what is happening is, the police, we as a politician, and
it's not funny. He's very right.
Yeah, he's very right.
The irony of it has actually hit me.
I'm coming to that. See, Francis Bab showed what are the things. He has confirmed it further as a legal. The question is, as you have also pointed out, I will say, and I think Advocate Samant should also say on this. Detection rate, I can tell you, honestly, is very good in the present scenario.
Because all the complicated cases are thrown out. The
conviction rate is poor. One of the reasons, according to me, he may differ, he may agree. The strictures passed by the court in a particular case, which has got an acquittal, showing that the shabby investigation is like this, not because the person is innocent. No action is taken against these officers. I will show you officers are promoted after getting court strictures. So many officers are there. Then they will get you suspended by creating administrative loopholes for him to come back. So many are there.
I know of cases.
You see, now what I am trying to say is, I think the Home Minister has to really make a thorough study on this and see that only if this is done, the conviction rate will increase. Strictures are passed, nothing is done. Some increment is suspended, some nonsense is going on. The police are not depending on the salaries, forget the increment. Their salaries are coming from other sources. This is a fact. If people, anybody talk to you, tell you this. A small child in 5th standard will tell you this. उसको कुछ देगा तो चलेगा. This is the talk. So if this is the state of the officers, of our officers, of course, I'm not sure all are in the same thing.
There are good officers.
There are very good officers. We have seen also.
Yes, yes.
But this is increasing. One of the reasons is increasing because to get promotion, to get posting, to get a job, everything it goes under the table.
Sahib, when you have covered issues, have you seen the cops being very arrogant? I remember one incident in Kalangut police station with you specifically. I got a call because of that incident. Have the cops basically, they don't care. They look at the person and then they'll take action. Guilty, victim. On top, they will discourage you. As a journalist, I'm saying. I'm not saying as your person. As a journalist,
No.
have you seen these things? I mean, you feel these things are happening. Have you noticed? Have you observed?
This thing doesn't happen quite often, but sometimes when anyone goes filing a complaint, they do the interrogation before filing. What has happened? Like it's a victim. They interrogate you like you are a culprit first. Then they call us some another party. Means
To settle
what has
it.
happened? Yeah, to settle it immediately. If you go on the road, if there is accident, the cop will say you settle this accident. This better between you. Or if the matter goes to court, your vehicle will be in police station for 5, 6 or 6
So that's
months.
why the many complaints are not given,
Yeah.
and that's why the accident rate they say become
So
less.
so when this Margao rape incident happened, so I was following this past these days when the incident, since the incident happened, the police, NGO and the Women Commission didn't work sensitively in this case. That's what my point is. If the victim is retracted from a statement, there was no need to arrange a press conference with the victim saying nothing happened, there was no rape and
The NGO, that was very bad on the NGO's part.
that was no. NGO should have done the counseling of the victim. Why are retracting a statement? Is there any pressure on you? Has someone threatened you on retracting a statement? So eating tobacco, getting intoxicated, I don't think
It's
so.
not possible.
Yeah.
All of us have had tobacco. We have not got intoxicated.
Yeah.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've seen.
Ridiculous thing, yeah.
I've
So
seen
after
that.
eating
Important is when the victim was all the time dancing between the police station and the hospital.
hospital.
Apart from these people who are come on record, that advocate and out of it, has anybody else interacted with her to put pressure on her? Or the pressure has come from within this?
From the police itself.
Police, yeah.
Police itself.
See, now wait, I want to just make one point before we go in for a break. I want to make one point. Now the police van took the victim to the hospital where the doctor refused to do it because of a memo. Now tell me one thing, are the police so dumb, so incompetent, so unaware, so I don't know, unpad, that they don't know that without an FIR that the medical cannot be taken. Now this, whoever that PI is there or the device SP is there, now they are big IPS officers. Have they questioned asking how you sent it? Immediately she should have sent a show cause notice and in writing how you can take a victim, rape victim to a hospital without an FIR. The cop is not aware.
All these people who interacted with the victim should be suspended first.
So how you can take it? Then first of all, before an FIR is found for a heinous crime, how is it the police has taken this victim to the site of the crime?
Exactly my point.
How? Or is this something that shouldn't the Home Minister and the device P, DIG, DGP, I don't know, there's a
Was there any NGO accompanying her at that time?
There was an
Taking the-
NGO, so the
but even an NGO, that NGO should be pulled up here.
Yeah,
because that is not how it can be done. This is an
the
investigation.
NGO's job is not
Okay.
to be
Anyway,
doing the statement at all.
we need to go in for a small break and this part is over. We have not reached very far. Besides the fact that the complete laxity, what I want to know is these things are happening on a regular basis. How many of these legal AGs and all inform the cops that they are putting up a shoddy investigation? How many police have been arrested for letting the guilty go free? How many of them are there? Only thing they can do is shout at all the innocent people and yell at them and let everybody go free. I don't know. We have to see this. Let's discuss this when we come back. But this is a very serious thing, because if Goa has to remain Goa and we have such a small state, if we cannot make it a model state, we cannot ensure that law and order happens here, we cannot ensure that people are these type of things don't happen. We are seeing these tourists beating up Goans on the road, Goans having to take the law in their own hands because there is dadagiri happening on the roads openly, and the cops are telling people don't take law in your action. If we don't take law, who is going to do it? Are the cops taking care of us? I don't know. We will discuss this after a week. Keep watching.